You're listening to Season 6 of Three Angry Giant Fans and Jet Fan Podcast, brought to you by Rugged Uncle and Carolina Beer Temple. Join us each week as we go over news and notes of the Jets and Giants, give our pet peeves, and basically just gripe about our team's dismal performances as of late. Also go to our website, angryfootballfans.com, and download our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We have a lot of fun doing this. We enjoy all of our fans. Go Jets and go
Washington.
Giants.
They played a good game. I thought there was times we did some good things, but obviously not enough. Offensively, 6 points. It's tough to win a game. Didn't feel like we got into much of a rhythm, particularly on early downs on the offensive side of it. And then we left 11 points out there in the red zone. I thought defensively we battled. We hit a lot of our keys. They had a big one there at the end, but we got to do a better job on the offensive side of the football. Players, coaches, everybody, and then in the kicking.
So that is Brian Dable in his press conference after the game saying we did some good things. The offense has to do better, though. We need to do a lot better in a lot of things. So I think we'll save the press conference talk for a little bit later. But, guys, another season. Both our teams lost. Giants looked really bad. Jets looked competent. But at the end of the day, 2 L's staring us in the face, and this is just a repeat of every year we've seen. So we are the Three Angry Giant Fans and the Jet Fan. This is your host, Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Angry Jets fan, Novak. And we're already coming on the air, going to be pissed off this week.
Guys, I'm done. I am done. I said it at the bar. I texted it numerous times to people last night. Can't do this. This is the third year in a row we started without scoring a touchdown. First of all, this misery has to end, and it only lies at one person's feet right now to me, because you can't have the numerous different amount of quarterbacks who have started for games for the Giants since Brian Dable has been here, and they all look like the same guy when they're playing for his team. That's just where I am right now with that.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start, guys. I really don't. I got a lot of it out of my system right after the game. Well, really during the second half, and then as the game went on, you saw just an absolute repeat of what's been going on the last couple of years. This is year 4 of Brian Dable now, and we've all been kind of saying Dable's not really the guy. I think we have a head coach, but I know we're going to get into it a lot tonight. But I don't know, guys. I don't know where to go. Where's the fervor? Where's the excitement? Where was the energy from the preseason? I know it was preseason, but where was any of that? Mike Kafka, this is I know we've done this before with the Niedermeyer and the Marmalade and the Wormer. Kafka, dead. Bowen, dead. Dable, dead. Slayton, dead. Pick whoever you want. Get rid of this trash. This is what they put out there yesterday is not the NFL. I can't wait to go around the league. I don't know how much you guys watched the rest of the league. We had the red zone going all day. Every other team looks better. They look more skilled, organized. Guys, I don't even know. I want to control myself just so I could be coherent tonight in trying to break down this game, knowing that there's 16 more of these things. And again, week 1, and I feel like the season's over. It's over.
Yep. All that and more. Just all that.
Novak, any opening comments?
I mean, I got a lot of comments for the Giants. Look, forget that I'm a Jet fan for a minute. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Is it right? That's what we all know, that cliche. How many years are you guys going to complain about the offensive line of this Giants team? How many years? 15? 20?
Rest of my life.
And so I looked at some stats out of curiosity. I'm going to ask the three of you this. Would you rather have offensive line depth or a backup defensive tackle?
Offensive line depth.
Yeah.
Offensive line depth or a backup running back?
Offensive line.
Yeah.
Offensive line depth or a tight end?
Maybe a tight end. But
Offensive line depth or a cornerback or a safety?
Yeah.
Offensive
I know where
line.
you're going.
Why do you continue to not draft offensive linemen? It's not that hard. In 2025, there were 22 offensive linemen before the Giants drafted one. 22. 12 tackles. 3 that are starters. And every single year, you guys go into the year saying, well, it's all about the offensive line, all about the offensive line. And you don't draft them.
No, we draft a
drafted
receiver.
2 offensive linemen in 3 years. And your division has drafted 17 offensive linemen. The Giants account for 2 of those. And you wonder why you suck.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic statistic. It is.
It doesn't make any sense.
And I've kind of fallen into the trap of it myself. We talk about it on our pod about like, oh, we need depth. We need a wide receiver too. We need a tight end. We need skill position guys. And I've kind of I've gotten sucked into that vortex of not realizing again that this offensive line is absolutely unfixable. I don't understand. Someone has to explain to me how in the NFL the same unit with different play. I'm just talking about the offensive line of the New York Giants. Different coaches, different O-line coaches, different head coaches, coordinators, different people in uniforms on that line, and they can't figure this out. I cannot understand any of it. I just can't. It doesn't make sense. We were DVRing and we were watching play after play after play. They couldn't protect. They couldn't run the ball, and we were literally. I don't know who I want to single out the most, but maybe John Michael Schmitz, that asshole.
He stinks.
My God. Did anyone realize how bad this guy is at blocking and playing center in the National Football League? I'm done. Guys, I'm done with all these people. This guy was getting pushed back and shoved around into the backfield 6, 7, 8 yards.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I just don't understand. I did not play offensive. I don't have experience playing this position. To me, at this level, what makes one unit so much better than another when all these guys are relatively the same size? They all went to major universities. They all are high draft picks for the most part. I can't, as a football fan, as an NFL fan, I just cannot understand how the skill level of a lineman is that much different. Is it schemes? Help me out, guys. What is it? Do we have any idea?
It's got to be that, Cardone, because you see linemen leave here and go just be solid linemen somewhere else. They don't become superstars. They don't. I've got like 2 names in my head, and they won't come to my head right now.
Kevin Zeitler's one of them.
Zeitler. Yeah, there's guys who stunk here who just leave here and they just plug in and start the rest of their career on the offensive line. And maybe they're never great, but they're fine. They're just fine.
I want to talk about Kevin Zeitler because Kevin Zeitler was good. He came to the Giants. He sucked, left the Giants, and was good again.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a play yesterday where I think it was like a 3rd and 12. Giants really needed it, of course, late in the game, and the Commanders got in Russell Wilson's lap instantly with a 4-man rush.
4-man rush.
Yeah. 4 men.
We had a running back staying in the block, and we had 2 tight ends on the field, and a 4-man rush just instantly on Wilson.
So, guys, we're going to talk about the offensive line here in just a second, but let me give a shout-out first, and then we'll get into the breakdown. But hello, Hampstead, North Carolina. It's a community near Wilmington, population 7,000. It was named after the 1740 plantation of John Mott, who was from Hempstead, Long Island. So somehow Hempstead became Hampstead. And so it's known for subdivisions, shopping centers, and retail or rental houses to take advantage of its proximity to Wilmington and the beaches. So not a lot of things to note about it, except that I think it's funny. It's called Hampstead, and it's coming from Hempstead, Long Island.
Yeah, they couldn't just look it up on the internet back then. The guy's like, I don't remember how it's spelled. That's close enough. You know what is there in Hampstead is the Serenity Point Sandbar.
Now that sounds fun. Serenity now.
Serenity now.
You guys need a little serenity.
We need serenity now.
You really do.
We need to go to Hampstead and get some serenity.
I think Sunday at like just 2:20 p.m. I would have been yelling, "Serenity now!"
I can't believe how excited I was. I had nervous energy, a good energy at kickoff, and it was absolutely depleted after really when we didn't score. And Scott, I don't want to bounce around too much, but I want to stay on track here. But I immediately went to the turning point was 1st and goal from the 1, down 7-0. And you don't get in. That, by the way, also coming after the fact that we got a penalty call on 3rd down. It would have been fourth and goal. No, I'm sorry. It was 4th and goal, I think.
4th goal.
Yeah, it was 4th and goal. We get the defensive call, and I'm like, 1st and goal from the 1. We're going to punch it in. And as soon as – I don't know. We talk about this all the time, guys, on the goal line. We never get the walk-in. We never just get the touchdown on 1st down. I said as soon as they didn't get it on 1st down, I was like, oh, shit, here we go. Yep. Still 2nd and goal from the 1. And then Scatterbo then's running into his own fucking lineman as the lineman's being pushed around and turned backwards. And right there, guys, when they settle for 3, I said, we're going to lose this game right here.
Well, yep. I'll tell you this. We were in unison at the bar watching the game. The first time the Giants went for it on 4th down, we said kick the ball. They didn't. They went for it on 4th down. Then we get the penalty. And what do we do on 1st down? We try some trick play where we're getting some lineman out of the backfield, who, by the way, I did watch the replay. He was being mugged the whole time once he left the line. But the thing is, why are you running that? Why not just run it down their throat on 1st and goal from the 1? Run it 3 times. If you can't get it in on 3 times and you want to go for it on 4th and pass the ball, fine. But you got Scatterbo. You drafted him for a fucking reason. Run the fucking ball.
That's the other thing. The Giants are so fucking predictable. Anytime they bring Scatterbo into the game, he's getting the ball. There's no, even when they split him out wide, they threw it to him. It's like they have specific packages for specific people, and they bring them in and use them when the whole defense is all over that. There's no setup. There's no, we're going to put Scatterbo in there 8-9 plays before we're going to get the Redskins to stop paying attention to him. None of that. It's all just the same completely predictable garbage. The goal line, I'm glad we got the penalty. I was really glad we got the penalty because we were going to go for it on 4th and not get anything out of that drive. The penalty probably saved us from ourselves in that situation.
How about this, though, guys? 1st and goal from the 1. Why not do what every other team is doing these days? Try the tush pusher, that whatever that play is, or have Russell Wilson do a sneak. If he doesn't get in, it's 2nd down from the 3-inch line.
Yeah,
I just don't get why you would not run the ball on 1st and goal from the 1.
And the play they called it's fine. The play they actually called, right? It works 1,000% of the time for other teams in the NFL. That offensive lineman is all alone in the back corner of the end zone. He catches it like a freaking dancing bear against his chest.
Yep.
But this guy covered, completely covered. The Giants haven't run that play ever. Washington was all over it. It's just
But how is that, though? We've never – but Mike, you just made a great point right there.
Yeah.
We've never run that play, but yet, Washington's all over it. How is that possible? How is it possible that we don't ever get walk-ins? We don't get easy – we get nothing easy. Forget about inside goal to go. Our goal to go offense, I don't have the numbers in front of me in terms of our touchdown percentage, but I looked up goal to go from the 1, and teams score fucking 95% of the time. And I don't know if that's a touchdown, but it's close. You guys get my point. I mean, and I just don't understand that we have. This has been year in and year out. We know the offensive line, but our play calling inside the red zone and especially goal to go is just inexplicably horrendous in this league. I watched all around the league on the red zone. I see people walking in from all over the place. Justin Fields is trotting in from the 2-yard line. There he goes. And we got guys running into the fat asses of our offensive linemen who are getting spun around and pushed into the backfield. I can't take it, guys. I can't. I don't know, Mike. To your point, I was 16 more weeks of this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to survive it, guys. I'm ready to adopt a new team. I was starting to think about my new teams last night. Buffalo, maybe. I might take on the Buffalo Bills. I don't even have to change the colors on my sheets. It's the same red and blue.
Well, when you asked how teams knew what we were doing there, this goes to Mike's point. So when Scatabo is in the backfield, he's getting the ball. When number 71 reports as an eligible receiver, he's getting the ball.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the fucking New York Giants in a nutshell.
Look, I've been watching the Giants obviously a lot more for the last 3 years, and it doesn't change.
No.
It doesn't change. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like, and because I'm with you guys, when you get a first down, you act like you've won the Super Bowl.
That's
Like
what it
on a
feels
first
like.
down.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to get a first down. I forget the Jets. It's just like, why does it feel like they have to try so hard to do anything positive offensively? It blows my mind.
I just don't understand how 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 1, how it can be that our quarterback, and now it just happens to be Russell Wilson now, we can go back to Jones, name any quarterback that we've had, the last couple of years, how this person cannot just drop back and survey the field with a clean pocket. It doesn't matter the down, the distance, the score of the game, nothing matters.
No.
Nothing matters. The guy is running for his fucking life every week of every year now for what seems like 5 to 10 years. Someone has to help me understand this.
Yeah.
I thought this year, nothing surprises me too much. I really was shocked yesterday at how bad the Giants played an NFL game yesterday. I was. And that rarely happens anymore. Nothing surprises me in this league. Nothing. We predict, I feel like 90% of the shit that happens most of the time of not only just our two teams, but across the league. And I absolutely was really, I don't want to say shell-shocked, but I really was unbelievably caught off guard by just how bad the Giants still are.
Well, and we'll get into this in a little bit too. But when Daniel Jones was here, he looked better than Russell Wilson did. But regardless of that, he leaves. Russell Wilson comes in, and the composed Russell Wilson looks just as shaky as every NFL quarterback that's played here. Like to Mike's opening comment that he made, and think about it. We were saying before the game started, Mike and I were like, moon balls. We didn't see deep passes in this game. They maybe took one shot the entire game downfield. So it says to you, did you just throw away the entire game plan once this game started and didn't try to throw any balls downfield? We ended up with 6 points, no touchdowns. We all mentioned that. Guys, Birds looked good, as did Carter, and that was about the only bright spots. Now, I will say in the aftermath of this, Micah McFadden was carted off in the game, and it looked pretty bad. Reports are he's probably going to miss a couple of weeks, but it's not going to be season-ending. But regardless, this team has a lot of work that has to be done.
Still, I mean that's the understatement of the year. I don't want to panic. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater in week 1. But it's not just a loss. It's just that everything is exactly the same. That's what it is, and that just
and it
leaves
sets up a
no
week 2
hope.
game. It sets up a week 2 game that becomes a must win.
Yeah,
because it's another division game, and you lose to the Cowboys who went into the game against Philly looking like they had no chance, and they gave Philly a shot. All of a sudden, Dallas is probably going to roll us.
They're gonna roll us, Scott, and because this again, and we'll go around the league. I mean, I know we're gonna get to the Jets here and Novak's Jets. I mean, the Jets could have, should have won that game. Teams compete. We know who the bad teams are. Like New Orleans competed. The Tennessee Titans are competing on the road at Denver.
Competed.
The Browns competed. Probably should have won. They missed a field goal at the end of the game. Teams compete. This Giant team can't compete. That's the major disparity between where they are and where a real team is. Any team for that matter. They're hopeless. This league is designed and set up for the offenses to score points. I was listening to a few comments today and going around, the social media and whatnot, and every other team is scoring points. The New York Giants, they can't score touchdowns. They can't score points. It's bullshit. And this isn't something, Scott, where had they had they played a complete game and they just got beat, maybe and we're hanging in there, you could say, you know what, man, we were 1 or 2 plays away. We got a bad break here or something happened. We got a chance against Dallas next week. You can't look at this game yesterday and then say we're going to Dallas with a chance to win. No, there's no chance. There's no chance.
When your words after a game are Graham Gano's our MVP for like the umpteenth time, that shows you how sad it is.
It's very sad, man. And I just can't believe this happened again in week 1. And because again, how does this all of a sudden this gets fixed in 6 days going into Dallas, who, by the way, they're a desperate team. And let me tell you something. I watched you watched the Dallas game on Thursday night against the Super Bowl champs. They could have won that game had it not been for a couple CD drops and the fumble. The random fumble that the Eagles always seem to get, right, to get them off the hook. All of a sudden, Dallas's defense stinks, this and that. Will you wait to see what Dallas's defense does to our offense? Because we stink.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Dallas's defense, I'm sorry, Mike, they were playing against the Super Bowl champions and probably the best offensive line in the league. And wait till they face this offensive line against the Giants. They're going to fucking manhandle us.
Yeah, they are. Because listen, Dallas is going to have a hard time finding wins on their schedule too. They're going to be fired up to get this one, and they're going to get it. Of course, I hope I'm not giving anything away on the predictions, but
I don't think so, Mike.
Yeah.
And then and like Cardone said, CD has a couple of drops, right? How many is he going to drop next week? None. He's going to be running around wide open. If we don't get immediate pressure, it's hopeless.
Well,
and we're not going to fix it in 6 days because we haven't fixed it in 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Giants-Redskins game, even if the Redskins don't drop a couple balls or Daniels misses a couple wide open guys, this game it's not close at all. It's a 40-6 game.
Yeah, which is what it felt like.
And they didn't play well. I don't think the Commanders played all that.
They didn't play their best game. They did not play their best game. No.
That defense is not all that good. They're not.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing for you guys is we talked about this the end of last year. You're off kilter, right? Because you should have gotten rid of Dable and Shane, and now you're stuck with them, and now you got pressure on this rookie quarterback now is amped up exponentially because of how you played in week 1. If you play that way in week 2, he's going to have to come in as the savior. When you had Eli go in, how many years ago that was, he went into a decent team. There wasn't as much pressure. The pressure on this kid is out of this world. And if they fire Dable and Shane, now you get a new regime. You don't know that they like this kid. It's not my guy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I don't know if you want to talk about Dart now, but Scott, do you want to? Because I have my thoughts.
Talk about Dart. I want to hold on anything about Dable because we have some questions about Dable coming up. But we could talk. Well, actually, let's hold off on Dart too because we got a question about Dart. So
all right.
So with that, let's end up going to the Jets game. So the Jets Steelers. I mean, honestly, we were watching that game. I mean, the Dick got the win. The Dick made some plays, but Jets put points on the board. The Jets running game looked solid. The Jets were running on that Steelers defense, which is considered a vaunted defense. So, I mean, you could put aside what happened with the Giants for a minute. The Jets competed. You said it, Cardone. Mm-hmm. Not only did they compete,
absolutely,
they were in that game. They probably should have won that game. And at the end of the day, the Jets looked decent. I don't know how good Justin Fields looked, but I'll tell you what, Breece Hall looked good. The defense had some lapses, but they had a lot of big plays in that game.
Look, I actually Justin Fields played really well.
He did.
And Mike and I were talking about it at the bar. Justin Fields, the difference in him this year was when he got out of the pocket and he started to run, instead of just running, he was looking upfield and he was finding open receivers, and he doesn't have much to work with. And his completion percentage was really high. He was making smart decisions. The pass to Garrett Wilson, the touchdown pass, which was a dime, he dropped it right in the basket. But if you watch prior to that, he saw that the Steelers were in man coverage, and he switched really quickly to the play, and he changed it, and Wilson was not wide open. He pass. No, I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to be the answer. I'm not. And I'm not saying the Jets are going to be any good because they're not. But what I can tell you is that they lost that game because of football reasons, not because they were terrible, but it's because a couple of bad luck. They lost by a 60-yard field goal. You can't blame that. Fine. I mean, we get that. They have a real problem in the secondary, other than Sauce Gardner, who was fantastic. This Brandon Stevens sucks ass. So that was a big issue. They ran the ball extremely well, and they told you what they were going to do. They said, we're going to be a running football team, and they did it. And you know why? Because of their offensive line. They've got 4 number 1 draft choices, and they even lost their starting guard. Take a page out of that book. Build from the inside out.
Didn't even notice.
You didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
So, look, and I'm pissed that they lost. Of course they lost. It's a heartbreaker. As always, the Jets find a way to fuck all our fans, and we lost in a just completely heartbreaking fashion. And I had to sit there and listen to the Dick say how happy he was to beat everyone, associated with the New York Jets. Fuck off. First of all, you didn't play all that well, and he said the Jets, didn't think he could play anymore because you stunk when you were here, dude. You were horrible, and you torpedoed this franchise, bringing all your little buddies in. And I'm so happy he's out of here. Go play for the Steelers. He had one good week. He's gonna suck this year, and I can guarantee it. So sucks that we lost, but I can't complain. Would I have ever thought in a million years the Justin Field-led Jets would score 32 points? Hell no, not in a million years. So. I don't believe in moral victories, and I love that Aaron Glenn said that. He said that there's no such thing as a moral victory, and anyone that loses us a game is not going to be playing for us. Thank you. Finally, where has this been? So, I give them a C+. They lost the game, but I can't even compare it to what the Giants look like because they look decent.
And your coach says there's no moral victories, and our coach said, "Yeah, we did some good things in this game."
He's got to go. No, I agree, and Novak and I were talking about it pretty extensively there at the bar. We were watching the game. Fields was great. Mm-hmm. He was great. And that's where a running quarterback. That's Lamar Jackson running quarterback. Mm-hmm. That is the guy who uses his legs to make himself space to throw the ball. And if it's not there, he can tuck it and run. We know he can run. And he somehow found accuracy. You got to give some coach on the Jets some credit there because he wasn't even that at college.
That's what you just said it right there. This new offensive coordinator, I know it's one game, but he had a game plan suited to what Justin Fields can do, not forcing a game plan down his throat that wasn't suited to his game. Yep. And that's what an offensive coordinator should do. And I feel like that's what the Giants are missing. This Kafka sucks ass.
Yeah,
sorry.
He does.
He's the worst OC in the league.
He really is. How is he ever getting head coaching interviews? Get the hell out of here with.
No. But I can't believe I'm going to say this either, but I thought the same thing. I mean, obviously I had, the Giants on, the primary screen, and I was really just watching the Jets through the red zone and stuff. But what I did see was that might have been one of Justin Fields' best games as a pro.
Everyone,
in terms of
said it was.
He looked confident. He looked in control. He didn't look erratic like he usually can. He looked like he was in command of that offense. He really did.
Absolutely.
And I was
on that.
For the first time ever. Yeah, as I was just observing, I was actually like, man, if I'm playing against Fields, I'm a little scared of this guy right now. He was.
Well,
he looked dangerous.
On the last drive, on that last play, he made the right call. Like he ran it up to he could have maybe run it for the first down, but he had 3 defenders coming at him. He stopped and he threw it to a wide open Garrett Wilson. You cannot blame Fields for the fact that Garrett Wilson got lit up by Jalen Ramsey and dropped the ball. He made the right call. If that was last year, he's running. He's tucking and running. Yeah. And he didn't. So I can't be upset with Justin Fields.
No, what you can be upset with is definitely the dick and everything what comes with him winning. At your the Jets' expense, Novak, right?
That just burned
because he's just impossible to look at. But let me ask you this, as a diehard Jet fan, because when they're lining up for the 60-yard field goal, was there any doubt in your mind that ball's not going through the upright?
No.
Did you think there's not, right?
It's going in,
but
guaranteed.
But guys, think about this. The game's on the line. You're talking about a 60-yarder. We talk about this all the time on our pod. 60-yard field goals now just go through. They just go through with the game on the line, no less. With ease.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even. I didn't. As we're watching, Red Zone had it online. I didn't even sniff at the idea that he was going to miss that kick.
Nope.
60-yarder.
Absolutely not.
I don't know whether I should be. Sorry, Scott. Like I don't know whether I should be like impressed with this or just constantly pissed off that guys are hitting 60-yarders. For some reason, it pisses me off.
What was the kick Butker hit? Just running onto the field and kicking it. Greg!
Well, look what we got.
we got another.
Yes.
We got another Cardone in the house.
Yes.
So wait a minute. Wait. I got to go. Hang on. I got to go speaker thing here. Just a second.
Now we're good. How's the
All right.
optimism, boys?
Oh, it's right up
The
there.
optimism is at an all-time low there, Mr. Greg.
I can't hear him. What did he say? I can't. How come I can't hear him?
Oh wait.
He's gonna have to. He's gonna
I
have
got
to take the
technical
out.
trouble.
I mean, come on.
No, here we go. Go.
Are we good?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yeah. So the
Come on, we're the
optimism
three
is at an
angry
all-time low.
Giant fans. Let's be angry. And enough of this laughing and yucking it up. Get pissed
No,
off.
We've been fucking angry.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did Chris give you my season over when it happened?
Yep. Yeah, we got it.
He
I
did.
did give it.
Yeah,
It was actually on a punt.
on a
It's on
punt.
a punt. Yep.
And I
It was a
when I nailed the
Novak.
39-yard punt, I go, "Had it. I'm out."
Jamie Gillian,
I mean,
Worst punter in the league.
worst punter in the league,
unbelievable.
and we still trot him out there.
So I'll let you guys get back to it, but geez, Novak. At least maybe. I mean, how did this happen? Maybe Fields is
Justin
We just
Fields,
talked
man.
about it.
better than we
Yep.
think.
That's one game. Doesn't mean anything, but like I feel bad talking about it because the Giants were just like dog shit. So it's
Worst
tough.
team in the league.
What about
they,
did you guys?
They
did you
were.
guys hear the? Did you hear BT and Sal on their
I did.
rant? Woo! Good
That
stuff.
was awesome, and he was spot on.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't see Chris all day and all this stuff like that. Real quick, before we go, I had to go get him down at my mom's. Right, we get in the car, radio off, and we had a 30-minute ride back to my house. And let me tell you, we couldn't even hear over each other with the F-bomb. We just went giant talk, "Are you?"
I told these guys I got a lot of it out of our systems
We
earlier
did.
today. I'm like, I think I have some in the tank here tonight for
Yeah.
the pod, but we'll find enough to get it
Right.
out. Yeah.
So, all right, man. I love you guys.
All right.
Keep it
All right,
going.
Greg. Good to
All
see
right,
you, man.
guys.
No, so Cardone, what I was mentioning is that even that rushed field goal by Butker, I think it was like a 58-yarder. He just comes trotting on the field with no time. They just snap the ball. He kicks it. It goes right through it. It's in the net halfway up. I mean, it's ridiculous these
I
days.
can't take it. I know.
No,
I
And
know, man. It's
everyone still goes on fourth, knowing that these kickers can knock 60-yarders like it's nothing.
Yeah.
sickening.
So when we look around the league, guys, there was some good games out there. I mean, that Bills-Ravens game might have been
awesome.
one of the best openers I've ever seen.
Ever.
Now, I will say this. I was firmly in wanting the Bills to win that game, but the Bills got a lot of favorable calls in that game.
They did.
Josh Allen can basically do what he wants, and the officials are letting him go. And I feel a little bit bad if you're John Harbaugh, except for the fact that John Harbaugh, even in the final drive, what the fuck's he doing not having Derrick Henry out there for a while?
There's something about John Harbaugh that he doesn't go for the throat. I feel like he doesn't win these big games.
Well,
He lets teams back in. Like he just can't just put the final nail in the coffin, and any times he gets up on these big games. So remember that as we get into the playoffs this year. Something about him, like he plays conservative, he gets scared, he doesn't go for it. Something about this guy.
well, the Ravens I saw today, they have the most double-digit blown leads in the fourth quarter in the across the entire NFL in the last. Did you see that, Mike? Yeah, whatever it is, the last. I don't know if it's 5 years or whatever it is, something like that. Yeah, the Ravens of all teams have the most blown double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. So to your point, Novak, there's something about them not finishing games with double-digit leads. I mean, especially the caliber of that team should not be. It's hard to blow a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. It should be. It is.
They lost a double-digit lead with 5 minutes left. 4 minutes left.
Yeah. And by the way, teams going for 2, not going for 2. Yeah, oh my God, right? Oh my God, I can't even keep track of what the score should be in these games anymore. With teams electing to go for 2, I've given up on that, guys. I just don't. And you know what? It doesn't even get brought up. No one brings it up. Nobody in the media brings it up. Collinsworth and Tirico won't bring it up. It's relentless.
The Jets did it in the first half. They missed the they missed the extra point, and I'm thinking, oh great, we missed an extra point. It's 9-7, and then they get a gift from God, some phantom call, kick the field goal, and just go up 10-7 and be done. And they're like, oh, we're a yard closer, so we're going to go for 2.
Yep.
And then what happens is the rest of the game you're playing a chess match to try to figure out, do I go for 2 here? Do I go for 1? Got to go up 7, got to go up 6, got to go up 8, go up 9. Like, it just doesn't end. Just kick the field goal, take the point, and move on. Just frustrating as hell.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
So also around the NFL, I mean, we had the opening night game on Thursday night with the Cowboys and Eagles, and you couldn't have really scripted a worse start for the Eagles, where their fullback gets injured on the kickoff. The Jalen Carter spits and gets ejected. The Cowboys go right down and score, and yet the Eagles come back and win that game in at the end. And you know, there's a lot of reasons why that happened. I had to laugh about the fullback guy that got hurt, because the camera's on him and he's muttering. You could see his lips. What the fuck? How the fuck did this just happen? He knew he was done. You know?
Yeah. Unreal.
That was an interesting start to the season. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
The whole spitting thing.
Oh, yeah.
Collinsworth kind of said the quiet part out loud. I sent you guys a text on that. I don't know if you, but during the Jalen Carter injury, Collinsworth was like, "Oh, this was a guy that we were going to talk about for 80% of this broadcast." Like,
yes, I did hear that.
It just sounded like he didn't know what he was going to do now. You know, he's just like, and they referenced it. I don't know. I should have kept count, but by the time I realized how many times they'd referenced it, it was too late. But they referenced that injury multiple times per drive the rest of the game. Oh,
they did.
Hard to imagine Dallas getting away with that if Carter was here. You know,
anytime Dallas scored, well, if Carter was on the field, I don't know if this is going to happen.
Yeah.
That broadcast is hard to take with Collinsworth. They beat storylines to death for 3 hours, and
I think Collinsworth has jumped the shark. I mean, the way he was going on about Jalen Hurts, and no one's pointing out, by the way, that Jalen Hurts throwing the ball is not doing that well. He is running the ball. He's taking off. He threw to wide receivers 3 times in that ball game.
Yeah. He keeps
A.J. Brown had 1 reception. It was at the very last play of the game, basically.
Yeah. I kept begging for Dallas to put a spy on Hurts or something to slow him down. Something is weird about, again, because I always think about, like, well, the Giants don't do this or can't do that. I watch Jalen Hurts, and the guy, he's not lightning fast. But yet, for some reason, when plays break down, he just trots in from like 15 yards out for touchdowns. How does it happen?
No,
Where is everybody?
Really good. He's really good about that. Just like, you know, it's like we talked earlier, like Fields hasn't been over his career, but was great this weekend. It's just run to the spot where they're not there. Just get to open field somewhere and make a play. And
the way that the Giants' offensive line has been, the Eagles are the antithesis of that. The Eagles have such a good offensive line that it makes Jalen Hurts look that much better.
Yeah,
that guy behind the Giants line is not doing half of what he does. But under the Eagles line, he can do pushes for 5 yards. He can scramble for 15 for touchdowns. He's not doing that in blue.
Yeah, no,
not all blue. No,
I think the Eagles are beatable though. That defense is not great. They've lost a lot of pieces to that defense.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they're not the class of the NFC, because they may be. They are beatable. I really do think so.
That was one of the points I wanted to bring up about Collinsworth. They were raving about how great this Eagles team is. They have no weaknesses whatsoever.
That's not true.
They did not mention all those defensive departures in a negative light. I mean, you have a Dory Jackson out there getting toasted. That's a weakness. You have defensive players out there that if they get a couple key injuries this year, they're done on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
No, to your point, Novak, they mentioned the turnover and they mentioned it in a positive way. How is it positive when you're losing Slay and you're gaining Dory Jackson? I don't know how that's a not good.
Yeah, I think a lot of times these teams get this like reputation for being able to like plug and play anybody. And I just don't think that's true. And I think the Eagles are an example of that. I don't think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year. I don't. And I'm going to be eating those words, I'm sure. But the Dallas was, kind of going up and down on them, no problem. We'll see what happens with them. But I wasn't as impressed. I really wasn't.
I mentioned it a little bit earlier about Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones took a Colts team who really is probably bottom tier team, and they just blew out Miami. And not only did they blow out Miami, Daniel Jones was solid in this game. He had 2 touchdowns throwing, he had 2 touchdowns running.
He was better than solid, I thought. It was fantastic.
He did exactly what we wanted him to do with the Giants if he had an offensive line.
I mean, we railed on this podcast for a long time before we gave up the ghost about Daniel Jones. And what did I always say? You guys will remember me saying it. This guy's going to end up somewhere else because he's poisoned here with the Giants, and he's going to have a solid career, make some playoff teams, and just be a good quarterback somewhere else for the rest of his career. Still, I mean, one game, but,
It may only be one game, but you can already say, I want the guy to do well. I want him to do well. And again, it's just a unbelievable indicative of this Giants organization. We couldn't figure it out with Saquon Barkley. Think about this, guys. I was thinking about it again today. We had the best fucking running back in the league. We end up signing guys like Darius Slayton to 3-year deals. And Daniel Jones has one game, and he has like the game of his career. With a brand new team, brand new everything. It's just laughable. It's laughable that it has to be this toxic environment of the New York Giants. And I just hope I hope Jones. I really hope he just continues to tear it up. I wanted him to win that starting job over Richardson because I think he's so much better than that guy. Yes. And after one game. You talk about cementing his, starting job. Again, one game we know doesn't make a season. Obviously, it does with the Giants because we know it one loss and they're done for the season. But I'm glad we talked. I figured we would talk about Jones, of course, a little bit tonight. But I'm just happy for the guy, man. I hate that saying because it just sounds cliche and stupid. But when I saw his numbers going, the highlights and such. Twitter everything was blowing up about Daniel Jones, day, and it really more about the Giants than even Jones.
Well, I thought it was funny the days leading up to the opener, Colt fans on Twitter were saying, how can you bench Richardson for this guy, so and all this. If you listen to the pregame shows, they said two things that I thought were interesting: the Jones elevation to starter and the Flacco elevation to starter.
Yep.
They said both of those weren't even in question. Those two won those starting roles outright.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd heard that same thing about Jones. I didn't know about Flacco, but people in the know were saying that Jones from day one of camp, the coaches were like, yeah, he's the starting quarterback. It's just like there's no question here what we're doing. And the fans aren't going to like it. And there are Colts fans, every team has their idiots fans. There are Colts fans today still railing on Daniel Jones. Lucky and all this and that. Because
the Dolphins stink. I mean,
Yeah,
there's all that narrative. But, yeah, they stink. I don't disagree. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 running touchdowns. They didn't punt for 3 quarters.
They didn't punt at all, did they? I thought they scored on all
they
7
did not.
of their drives.
Or something
He
like
said
that.
so. What was the record? He sent some record or something like that. Yeah, he scored every time he touched the ball.
Yeah.
It's the first time that's happened this century. So since 2000,
yeah,
Daniel Jones is the only quarterback to score on every drive. 7 drives, 7 points.
It's hilarious, man. It's
drives ending in points. Yeah.
I mean, and when he was with the Giants, you didn't play the 2000 Ravens every single week. I mean,
No.
you weren't playing vaunted defenses every single week.
No.
Doesn't someone have to look at that and say, okay, he's
That
doing
could
this,
be-
we're doing that. What's the common denominator here? It's
Yeah.
the offense that you're putting in place.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Novak, and that might be the most damning thing that happened to Brian Dable this weekend. If all the damning things that happened to him, having Jones just go out there and show out
Yeah.
might have been near the top of the list.
Especially if the Colts end up making the playoffs or play decently this year, and Jones is a solid NFL quarterback that doesn't miss time because of injury. There's going to be a lot of questions asked on what happened when he was here in New York.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
Yeah,
that
that's
happens. I'm ready to sabotage and bury the Giants. I really am. At the expense of my own team. This is how far I'm broken. I am broken by this New York Giants team.
Yep.
That to the point where I am one of these guys, Novak. You're like it's about that I despise my own team now.
I've been
Love
there
to
for
hate.
years,
Listen,
so whatever.
love to hate the stuff I love.
That's right.
That's it. That's my sports motto now. I that's how I live.
Brian Dable has fallen so out of favor with me very quickly because we talked about this in the preseason. How I'm like, no, he should stick around. I always say, I got a gut feeling he's a pretty good coach. Here's how far I've fallen with him now. I don't want to play dart at all this year because I don't want him getting his hands on dart. I don't want to ruin this kid's career.
Yep.
Because
That's a
every
very good
quarterback Brian Dable has rolled out there has sucked. Apparently under his tutelage. I don't want this guy messing up dart.
Well, if I could just make a piggyback that comment, Mike, that's because immediately the dart, start dart, right? The mantra came out and rally, whatever. And I said, I was one of the few, I think, Giant fans, I think I'm in the minority, and said, no, absolutely not. I said, why? What? I was thinking more, not about Dable, had nothing to do with him. I said, please don't throw Jackson Dart behind this offensive line right now because we'll fucking ruin this guy. We'll ruin him. What's he going to do behind this line? What does it matter? He needs. We got to and I don't know what that looks like, how it gets fixed, but to throw Jackson Dart out there right now, I swear to God, I think the guy would be. We might ruin him. Yeah, as far as his confidence and his mental frame of mind, you're going to put him behind that offensive line. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
You definitely can't do it until Andrew Thomas comes back, for sure.
At least.
So, other. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, Andrew Thomas again. We're just harping on this, but I think you can't harp on this offensive line enough. I wanted to bring up, the Jets again. Was it Vera Tucker? He goes down. So BT and Sal, right? I heard that they were talking about this, of course. How come the Jets? Breece Hall ran for 107 yards. You guys are running the ball. It didn't matter. You didn't even notice it. Andrew Thomas goes out. This is the NFL. I don't care. I don't want to make excuses for. I know he's our starting tackle. I don't give a shit. Figure it out.
Yeah,
can't figure it out.
1,000% right.
Yep.
The offensive line 100%. Should be a unit, and one piece not being there should not make that much of a difference, no matter who it is. And anyway, and you could argue offensive line play and tactics and all this and that, and what they had to do to protect differently because he wasn't there. But the pressure was coming up the middle.
Right up the middle.
It was right up the middle.
Their interior line play was awful.
Yeah,
Smith and Runyon both were terrible.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
Yeah. Van Rotten's awful as well. I mean, he was a cast aside by was it Carolina, and now he's starting for you.
Yep.
I mean,
they'll probably do it better than Evan Neal would have, but yeah.
Well,
we haven't even talked about the defense, which again, I'm sick and tired of hearing about our run defense sucks. I don't know if you want to go to that side of the ball, Scott, or
give it away third and longs on runs or screen passes.
We lost your mic, Scott.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, all right. Maybe it was mine. Sorry. It's my $10 headphones.
Right on.
No, so I mean, if you look at the Giants in the last year, they have guys out there that the running defense is bad, but they're giving up screen passes on 3rd and 17 that are getting 17 yards, 18 yards, and you're like, how are we getting these conversions up on plays that should be well contained? Even on 2nd and 15, guys are getting like 11 yards at a pop.
Always.
And
We've
that was
made
a killer. That was a killer against Washington. Against Washington, how many times do we have them 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and they converted?
It felt like almost every drive, and we couldn't sniff a stop. We couldn't.
No.
Chunks of yards. I'm tired of yeah, all right, we had a couple pressures. We got Daniels down a couple times, but more often than not, those 2nd and 3rd and longs, we talk about this all the time on our pod. It's those big chunks of yards that sets up the 3rd and then the 4th and shorts and keeps drives alive, and we give up points. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of 2nd and 3rd and double digits and just giving up chunks of yards and drives continuing. We've seen it for years. I mean, the defense is better than the offense, but this defense still, in my opinion, they're average at best. They are across the league.
Think about the Philly model. The Philly model right now is on 2nd and 8. Just get to like 3rd and 2. And if you get in 3rd and 2, you can run the ball, get to 4th and 1 if you don't pick it up, and then you can do the tush push on 4th down, no matter where you are. I saw no more than 5 times that teams did fourth down conversions inside their own territory this week.
Yeah.
Well, that's just stupid. But I mean, we've been there a million times. I don't understand all of that. That's just, I don't agree with it. I don't like it.
They all converted it.
They probably did, but.
And I love that plan, but I don't trust the Giants to get a yard on 4th down.
Yeah, so your mic is
not good, Mike.
All right.
Mike's mic is gone.
I got to get rid of these things. They're terrible.
I said
go ahead. What I said there actually was I said I love that plan of like playing in front of the sticks and using all 4 downs, but I don't trust the Giants to get a yard on 4th down.
No. I don't. Well, we saw it play out in that sequence on the goal line, you know?
Yeah.
So that segue is actually pretty good into the segment I had, well, the last around the NFL thing, and that's the hype around Ben Johnson. Guys, I mean, I'm watching the Monday night game right now, and I'm watching the Manning cast of it, and Ben Johnson going into this game, they're like, you know, he's got this Bears team turn around. He's got them going in the right direction. And we've seen with like Detroit not doing well on yesterday. They were attributing that basically all to Ben Johnson. Not to mention the fact Aaron Glenn left and went to the Jets, but Ben Johnson's the mastermind behind all of this. I don't get how a guy who has never been in that position all of a sudden is anointed as a savior or a guy who's a guru at doing things.
Because he does going on 4th and crazy, triple reverse plays, and he does like wild, like off script type things. That's why, because he's not like a boring kind of offensive coordinator. So, and like I said it the last time we talked about this, this was Mike McDaniel 3 years ago, right? The next offensive genius is going to transform the league. Well, how's he doing right now? He's got his ass beat by the Indianapolis Colts, and they suck. So let's let this guy win 3 games before we start talking about Ben Johnson. That said, I will say one of the things I did want to mention was the Lions are not the Lions anymore. They had their window. That window is closed because they lost Aaron Glenn, they lost Ben Johnson, and they lost Tanner Engstrom, the passing game coordinator, who's now the offensive coordinator of the Jets. That shows you how important these coordinators are. And when you have one that sucks, like Kafka, that's what happens.
Yep.
Well, I do think we have to wait a little bit on the Lions. The Lions played a Packers team in Green Bay with Micah Parsons.
They couldn't move the ball.
They could move the ball against that D, but I think the Packers are going to surprise a lot of people again. And I
think Packers are going to the Super Bowl.
And I'm always right. I had the Packers against the Bills in the Super Bowl, so yes. But I do think the Lions are going to bounce back from that. The Bears right now in the third quarter have 10 points in this, wide open offense of Ben Johnson. So
it's what the league does now. I talked about it as a pet peeve, I think, near the end of last year is, these teams draft rookie quarterbacks and the announcers and everyone says, "Oh, huge upgrade at quarterback." What the hell are you talking about? You don't know if that person's a huge upgrade at anything.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the coaches too. It's let's let these guys win a handful of games and then just sort of start breaking it down. Then it's I guess it could be part of a pet peeve I have tonight. But I was watching the beginning of this game, the Bears and Vikings, which is on right now, and right when I was coming upstairs, I heard whoever's announcing the game call Caleb Williams Superman.
Superman.
He ran for a touchdown.
Good God.
And we're talking about Ben Johnson telling him something like, we just need you to play within the game, but when it's time to be Superman, you need to be Superman. And I'm like, what are we talking about here?
I can't take it.
So we have a game with the Giants against the Cowboys coming up on Sunday. We talked about this a little bit. Guys, I mean, you knew I had optimism going into the season. I think I picked 10 wins for the Giants. After week 1, that optimism went out the window. But not only that, we're looking at 0-2 in the division after this game because I do not see us going into Dallas and righting the ship because where I saw Eli and this team be able to win on the road, I don't see the Giants being able to win on the road, especially against a divisional foe.
We're looking at a lot worse than 0-2.
Yeah.
You got the Chiefs after that, right?
Got the Chiefs, Chargers. Yeah, I mean, you're looking down the road. Yeah.
Yep. Then we get a break with the Saints, who will probably beat us anyway.
Yeah.
But then we get Philly twice in 3 weeks. I mean, this team is not going to win 4 games.
It's so stupid. It used to be Thanksgiving was the benchmark. Then it moved up to Halloween. Then it was like, I don't know, Rosh Hashanah or something like that. That's usually now it's, or when the air conditioner turned over to the heat, like around October. Now we're week 1. 2 years in a row. We're calling seasons over in the middle of the game on week 1, and we're not. We're all over it. We're not exaggerating. This isn't far-fetched.
No.
We don't compete next week. Giants don't compete against the Dallas Cowboys next week. They don't.
Well, and unfortunately, the Giants against the Cowboys could make us 0-2, but the Jets, who look much better against the Steelers, play the Bills in week 2, and they definitely could go 0-2 as well. So, and it's for no fault of the Jets at all. It's the way the schedule rolls for both of us right now.
Yeah. The Jets are going to be 0-2 for sure. There's no chance in hell they're beating the Bills. And I knew that going into this season that, we had to beat Pittsburgh if we wanted to get off to a decent start, and we didn't, and yeah, sure, they played fine, but they still lost. It doesn't matter. You're 0-1, I'm 0-1. It doesn't matter. It's a heartbreaking game. I get all of that. But now we're getting the Bills. We're going to get rolled. And maybe we don't get rolled. And maybe Aaron Glenn has actually done something here. Maybe he's changing this culture. Maybe we're going to go out and fight. And maybe we'll lose 24-14 and actually look like a competent football team. And I'm actually, as crazy as that sounds, as pathetic as that is, I'm probably okay with it. Because at least we show some fight and we actually have something to root for. Maybe we have changed how we are viewed and we're not a laughingstock. Maybe that's what I'm hoping for. Not to be a laughingstock. How pathetic is that?
By the way, I
just
have to interject here. In the Monday night game, the Bears just returned a pick 6. And the first thing the camera goes to during the pick 6, before the guy even goes in the end zone, is Ben Johnson's reaction and then talk about Ben Johnson and how he's got the team going.
Get out of here.
It's a pick 6 on a play that J.J. McCarthy should not have thrown the ball to. How is that Ben Johnson? Is he a defensive coordinator now?
That is having the narrative, and the Bears were not living up to that narrative. Now they've got a 10-point lead, so turn the narrative back on, baby.
That's right.
Fire it back up.
Yeah, that was the script prior to the Monday night game when they did their briefing as the team. All right, what are we going to talk about? Well, let's beat Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams to death. Talk about Justin Jefferson and his teeth or something and his gritty dance or whatever he does, and maybe McCarthy. Other than that, I got nothing.
Yep.
So
You can
last
tell because
week-
what I'm sorry, Scabs. Let
No,
me
go
get this out. You watch any NFL broadcast where it's not going the way you might think it would go. There are huge chunks of silence from the announcers.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Their
true.
notes don't make any sense all of a sudden, and they can't, some guy gets hurt like this guy on Thursday night, or some teams just getting blown out where you can't talk about the rising star defensive coordinator. They have no idea what to do when that happens.
Right? Like, imagine if like Pat Mahomes got hurt in the game, and
Yeah.
the commentator's going, "Guys, I got nothing. What do I talk about?" And they're going,
Nothing.
Just talk about what it would be if he were in the game. Just go there. Just go there.
Just pretend he was in the game.
Be like,
By the way, we mentioned this at the bar when we were watching the pregame and things like that. How is J.J. Watt allowed to call a Steelers game that his brother plays in?
same reason
Why
Tom
not?
Brady's allowed to call any NFL game
yeah.
as an owner of the Raiders.
Because that itself is the storyline. I mean, that's right there.
Exactly.
That's so.
Like,
of course, it makes
seemed
sense.
to be, there used to be a time that we had a standard that if there was a potential conflict, it just wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have that guy doing the game.
Yeah.
Now it's thrown right out the window. It's like, oh, J.J. Watt, let's put him on the Steeler game. He's got insight on his brother.
You're right about that. They used to avoid things like that intentionally. The NFL did all of the time. And that, it all kind of started breaking down right about the time they got in bed with the gambling sites, because that's when they left all their standards at the door. That used to be, man, if someone even felt like Al Michaels used to get in trouble for referencing the line during Monday Night Football.
You're right, Mike. Yeah.
He used to he got like suspended for that or something one time.
I think he did.
Yeah, and then now they're sponsored by these sites. Sorry to interrupt, Scott.
No, that was a perfect commentary, because that's exactly what I was getting at. So we did a live show last week. We've not been able to post that. A lot of fun. Had a great time at the Carolina Beer Temple. Gave away some great prizes for some interesting trivia questions. Just had a blast all around. But one thing we did not do in the lead up on a show that we recorded was our predictions. So we gave all of our predictions together, and we're doing something new this year. We're doing the predictions of each of our teams, and then we're doing a lock of the week. And in the lock of the week, it's sort of like a survivor pool. You can't pick a team more than once. So, Mike, take us away and let us know how we stand.
All right. So the lock of the week is going to be worth 2 wins. It will also be worth 2 losses if you lose it. Just a way to keep it interesting there. And Cardone and I both picked the Giants and Jets to lose, so we went 2-0. The Scots picked the Giants to win and the Jets to lose, or was it the other way around?
No, I had
That's
the
right,
Giants
yeah.
winning and the Jets losing.
We both picked the Giants to win.
Okay, so they went 1-1 in their predictions. So, and then the lock was, help me with this, guys. I had the Bengals as the Stone Cold lock, and the three of you all had the Broncos. Is that correct?
We all had the
That's
Broncos.
correct. Yep.
Yep.
All right, so we all won our lock, although I got pretty lucky to win mine. So that adds 2.
Yeah.
That adds 2 to all of our scores. So Cardone and Mike are 4-0, and Scott and Novak are 3-1 for the following, or for last week.
Which means that Novak and I go first, right?
Correct. Yes.
That's right.
So
Yep.
I can go first. So my prediction this week, guys, I was brimming with optimism after the preseason with the Giants. Week 1 took the starch right out of me. And for the Giants game, I see the Cowboys moved up and down the field against the Eagles, at least for a half. I see the Cowboys winning 24-20. I do think the Giants are going to put up points, but it's not going to be enough. And that score, although it's close, may not be as close as the game is. And in the Jets game, Josh Allen just seems to be on another planet right now. He's playing like a man possessed. I have the Bills 30-13 over the Jets. And my lock of the week is Baltimore over whoever they're playing. They should probably know who they're
Brownies.
playing. Are they playing the Browns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll start with the Giants. Like I picked the Giants last week. Shame on me. I know better. I do. I know better than to pick them over the Commanders than I did. I'm not going to do that again after watching that horrific, boring, just display of just garbage that they threw out there. So I think the Cowboys are going to roll them. So I'm going to take the Cowboys here, 27-10. As far as the Jets are concerned, I think they will play well. They usually play the Bills pretty well. The Jets have always, they will always lose, but the Bills, they play pretty well. Actually, they don't always lose to them. They win a game or two. I think the Jets will actually take a lead in this game, and I think the Bills will come back and end up beating them. So I'm going to take the Bills here, 27-21 over the Jets. And my lock for the week, I'm going to agree because I don't think there's any way that the Ravens are going to go 0-2. I wanted to take the 49ers, but because I just saw the Ravens-Browns, I'm taking the Ravens here as my lock of the week.
Well, you want to go ahead, Novak?
No,
I'm
up.
sorry,
I'm up.
Cardone.
Yeah, there's going to be a boring pattern here because we're alluding to both. I'll start with the Giant game, and we don't compete down there in Dallas. Dallas is coming off their a little bit of a sting with the loss to the Eagles. We of course have to go on the road in the division again for another division home opener for the Dallas Cowboys, and they take down the Giants 31-13. I think the Giants struggle to score points again. This is, believe it or not, they didn't turn the ball over against Washington. They didn't get any turnovers either. So I see the Giants with handing the ball over to Dallas a couple times. 31-13 Dallas, and then I could see the Jets scoring some points again. I was impressed again with the way they were able to move the ball against Pittsburgh. Buffalo doesn't have that stout a defense. I think they like playing high scoring games. Buffalo, they typically find themselves in high scoring games. So I think the same thing, as Novak said. I could see it being a tight game through at least into the third quarter, and then Buffalo pulls away. I got them winning 34-23. And my lock, same as you guys. When I was looking at the menu for week 2, as soon as I saw Baltimore against Cleveland, they're not going 0-2, the Ravens, and the Ravens will win that game hands down over Cleveland. They're my lock.
All right.
So a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, I think we're all going to have the same thing here. I'm going to pick a different lock, so that'll be the only difference this week. So, Dallas is going to roll these Giants. It's not going to be pretty. It's not, and you think, hey, they get rid of Micah Parsons before the season started. There was some enthusiasm in the preseason about the Giants. Maybe we're thinking, hey, we have a thing against Washington. We beat Washington. Maybe we can go down there and maybe we can flip the script on this thing and actually be 2-0 for a thing. But it's right back. Everything is right back to where we were at the end of last year. So yeah, I'm going to pick Dallas to win this game 28-10. I don't know why I think the Giants are scoring a touchdown. I'm not sure, but we're going to go 28-10. And like Scotty said, it's going to be a game that doesn't feel like an 18-point game. The Giants are going to be hopeless throughout the game, mostly. I agree with Novak. Every time I watch a Bills and Jets game, the Jets are always in that game. Even when they stink, they hang around with the Bills. They hit their number a little bit. And yeah, probably more times than not, that doesn't turn out to be a win for them. And so I'm going to just say more of the same with that. I'm going to say the Bills kick a late field goal, hopefully not 60 yards, to win 27-24. And my lock of the week is the Dallas Cowboys. So there's no chance.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
I thought about
chance.
that, Mike. I know. They were going to be. Yeah, I thought, like, how do I not go Dallas? So
yeah,
you make me feel like I'm second guessing, but that's a good pick.
You can change it if you want.
No, I'll keep it. It's fine.
So we'll go pet peeves now. I'll start this week because I actually was going to use the Collinsworth thing, but I had a backup one. Collinsworth talking about Jalen Carter, because I thought, Mike, you were spot on with that. When you said he said the quiet thing out loud. He did. He
Yep.
basically gave away the formula that announcers have. My thing is something that popped up on Thursday night, and then it popped up all day on Saturday, and it's this whole idea of lightning delays popping
Yes.
up in college and the pros. I don't remember this as a thing before. It's possible it happened in college before. I don't remember in the NFL delaying games for lightning. Season openers being delayed an hour and a half. I just don't remember this happening. My kids were at the Clemson game on Saturday, and there was an hour and a half delay there for lightning. The Georgia game was delayed. Everything in the South was delayed because of lightning. And the worst thing about the Clemson game is they delayed it for lightning about an hour before the storm came through. So they delayed it. The storm came through, and then they had the lightning and all that other stuff, and then they started playing again. So I don't want to call it the pussification of America, but when did we get to the point where we're stopping games for lightning all the time?
I mean, I don't remember it. I know that we did back in the day in the 90s because I went to a couple of Jet games where I specifically remember. But you're right. It seems like it happens all the time. And the Panther game was delayed for like an hour and a half. Like, why? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but you're right, Scott. Like, they must have changed the rules or something, but I've not heard about it. Like, no one's ever said anything, but you're right. It's college and pros. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I remember back in the day, you would watch games, and I'm talking, I'm going back to the '60s now, where it was just like blizzard conditions, it was rain conditions. It seemed like that defined football players. You played in the mud, you played in the snow, you played in the rain. You never really, cared about anything that was happening. And nowadays, it's so much about safety that we sit there and coddle everything about these lightning delays. I get it. I want people to be safe, but when's the last time we've ever seen any kind of issue with fans being hurt by?
Yeah. Remember
Not once.
The great fan lightning strikes of the 1930s that they used to. I mean, come on. It's all. Oh, it's so infuriating. America really has a risk management problem. That's what they just don't understand. That I got so many angles I can take this thing from COVID to lightning strikes. I mean, throw some damn lightning poles up around the stadium. Let's go. Come on. People are scared of
the
lightning.
old
Go
lightning
inside.
rod. You would put lightning rods up when we were younger, and that would mitigate everything because it would hit the lightning rod, wouldn't it? Isn't that exactly what it would do?
I guess it's probably a response to. Can you imagine how fast you'd sue the NFL and your team if you were out there watching a game of football and got struck by lightning?
Fair.
I mean, I bet there's some Jet fans who've prayed to be struck by lightning when they're
all the time.
Some Giants fans too, but.
Well, when the fuck has that happened?
It's never happened.
Who has ever talked about the fan getting struck by lightning?
No,
I think you got a better chance of suffocating with a fucking brown bag over your head.
Yeah.
Trying to cover your face up.
That happened to me during the Kotite years. I went with my buddies, and my one friend, it was lightning. They canceled it, or they postponed it. He gathered up all the cups from all the things, and he was using it as a lightning rod, and he was screaming, "Just kill me! This team sucks! Just kill me!" And was asking for it to be struck by lightning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens.
Just think about this though. You're in a bowl. How often in a bowl is there going to be a lightning strike?
I mean,
yeah, with things with metal and stuff way higher than you are, all around the stadium.
Yeah,
it's the pussification of America, boys.
Yep, 100% right.
So yeah, Mikey, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, I got a short and simple one, and it just happened. So I was looking ahead at the schedule this year, and it's like we got people in town later in the year, and what are we going to do, and all that. And so I go to week 15, week 16, and 17. All the games are TBD now. Every game is TBD that late in the year now. So we got You don't know. You can't plan anything. God forbid you want to go to one of these games. You can't. You don't know which day you're going to take off. I don't understand the NFL and this. They just are making it harder and harder and harder to go to and watch these games. First of all, the product's getting unwatchable, as we've talked about many times. But then we got stuff on Peacock and Prime Video and YouTube and, like things people don't get. They're using it to sell apps. The NFL has become app salespeople. They're trying to get you to buy apps for your telephone or for your TV. You don't know what time the games are. I can't say like, week 18, I might want to go see the Giants there the first week of 2026. I can't. When do they determine that? When that game? I can't just take a week off and hope they play it sometime that week. It's just the NFL's got to get back. And, we said this is the get off my lawn speech that we have every week, right? But the NFL just needs to get back to being fan service and not trying to accommodate the lowest common denominator of the league, which are the fringe fans who don't really care. They're not going to be there. They're not going to be around watching games when the team that they like is 2-11. They're just, you've got to accommodate us. And they're leaving us behind. And this is just the most recent example of how and why. And they're selling network TV apps, and that's their whole game right now. They're selling gambling apps and trying to get us to buy 100 subscription stations on our TVs.
Well, one of you guys said it on the thread. The NFL has officially jumped the shark. I think we've brought that up a number of times. I think, Mike, great point. In just everything of old school NFL does not exist anymore. Doesn't exist.
Nope.
It's a great point. You can't. I was looking at later in the year, for the same reason, trying to just look at certain games when they and there's whatever happened to just Sunday 1 p.m., Sunday at 4 or whatever. It's gone. You don't know what networks are televising these games. You don't know. There's Black Fridays. There's Christmas things. There's games on every day of the week. I can't keep track of any of it. And my team sucks on top of all of it. So what does it matter?
When I said the NFL jumped the shark, I was talking specifically about that Friday night broadcast. At one point, we had Cam Newton on at halftime, Mr. Beast, someone named Speed, and Carol G doing a halftime show. Who the fuck are these people? And why are we celebrating this shit? Like, Mr. Beast is there's a guy named Mr. fucking Beast on a show, on a football.
What is that? I don't know.
I don't want to know what it is.
On another angle of that lineup of people who came on, that's where Cam Newton is now. That's where he belongs, with Mr. Beast and Carol G. Whoever those people are. He's a joke. Did he have his big hat on?
He did. He had a hat.
He sure did.
He looked like fucking Cat in the Hat.
Yep. Talk about unwatchable stuff. That guy.
Yeah.
God, he's the worst. Well, he's not the worst. My pet peeve is the worst.
All right. Segue to you, Novak.
Let's hear
it.
Yeah, I didn't want to go after Cardone, so I'm glad. So yeah, my pet peeve is, who I think is the worst. Now is 100% in my mind the worst commentator, sports analyst in the world, and that is this dick Ryan Clark. I can't take this guy.
Yep.
I cannot take him. And I'm telling you, it is not because of his generational talent spin or his take on that. I have no problem with that. I think it's ridiculous and stupid, but at least it's about sports. I'm watching these shows to consume about sports. This dick has to say about Peter Schrager, because who has a comment about how CeeDee Lamb played. He turned around and says, well, that's your I didn't play the game take. Screw you. You don't have to play the game to be an analyst. You don't. I'm sorry. Peter Schrager's been on the NFL Network. He's worked his way up. He didn't play the game, so what? I care about what he says more than what this asshole has to say about anything. And so I don't like Ryan Clark. I don't like how he takes opportunities. He's a arrogant, ill-informed, narcissistic opportunist. And anytime he sees an opportunity to make, get his name in the media, whether he's calling out RG3's white wife or whether he's calling out Tiki Barber, who, by the way, Tiki Barber is my favorite NFL analyst out there. I know you guys have issues with him.
Yeah.
Tiki is awesome. And Ryan Clark has to call him out saying, like, he didn't treat me very well as a rookie. You were an undrafted free agent person on the other side of the field. You were a defensive player. Tiki Barber was a fucking offensive player. This narcissistic a-hole has got to stop, because I'm not consuming sports media to hear you take shots at individuals. You want to give a take on sports? That's fine. And I also can't take this idea that because Peter Schrager didn't play the game, that he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm the consumer. You know what, Ryan Clark? You know who pays your bills? Me. Not me, Scott Novak. Me, people like me who watch sports. That's who pays your bills. So for an example, when I go into a restaurant and I say, I don't like the prime rib, it sucks, the chef isn't saying, well, you don't know how to cook. I'm the one buying the media. I'm the one buying the food. So it's me who decides whether you're good at your job or not. And Ryan Clark, you suck. You're a loser. You suck at your job. I will not watch another minute of you. I hate him. So that's my pet peeve. Ryan Clark can go F off. I can't take this guy.
Oh, just say it.
Ryan Clark will never get called for the carpet for the biggest sin that he has, and that's that he turns every discussion into race.
He does.
Every single one. Like, we don't need that. I'm watching sports to hear sports takes. I don't need race brought into it.
Who's your audience, Clark? Yeah.
Exactly.
He was full on board that Shedeur Sanders got screwed by the Browns because he's a black quarterback. And it's like, you're talking about the Browns who traded a ton to get, Watson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who is a black quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, they have Joe Flacco starting by default because Dylan Gabriel's not ready yet, and Shedeur Sanders is a 5th-round pick. And you're sitting there making fun of this team who actually went out and had a black quarterback for a while. And if it wasn't Watson, they had other black quarterbacks in there for a long time.
They had Jameis. Yeah.
They had Jameis.
Propaganda. It's gaslighting. That's all it is from Mr. Clark. But same thing, Novak. I was thinking. I saw those comments. Didn't see the clip of it actually, but I read up on it. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't need to be fucking Jim Cantori to know that it's like windy outside.
Exactly.
Like, Cardone, you've never been a meteorologist. That's true, Mr. Clark. But I know a cold day from a warm day, asshole. If I go outside, hey, it's cold out. Who are you to say it's cold, Cardone? Well, I don't know. Did you ever go to meteorology school? Have you ever been, worked? Have you ever measured a wet bulb temperature? No, I haven't. But you know what? It's just, I could go off on that all day.
Peter Schrager probably went to college for journalism. He probably worked his way up from like local media stuff and was probably like covering some newspaper in Erie, Pennsylvania, and worked his way up to the point where he's at the NFL Network. I'm going to give that guy a hell of a lot more credibility than Ryan Clark, who just played the game not that well, to be honest, for 10 years. Sorry. If you want to talk about what happens in the locker room, I'll listen to you, Ryan Clark. But when it comes to how CeeDee Lamb plays in a game, I listen to Peter Schrager too.
Yeah. I don't even particularly like Peter Schrager, really. But those comments those comments got in my craw too for the same reasons. It's who does this? I mean, who does he? Media was better in general before we let all the meatheads start talking. To be honest with you.
And who cares? Who cares what he thinks about like what his former friends in the NFL think of him? No one cares. They're not the one consuming ESPN. They're not. And you know what? If you're worried about the millions that you make from your bosses, ESPN would hire O.J. Simpson if they could make an extra dollar. They just stop with that.
They certainly would. And, a lot of these ex-athletes who are now in media is the reason for another one of my pet peeves over the years, which has been these guys are just too nice to each other.
Yes.
There's no criticism of players anymore.
None.
And it's because there's a lot of their buddies and everything are the ones in the media. And and the announcers don't want to be seen as people who criticize players when they're sitting next to a player. And it's damaged the coverage of the NFL.
And this may shock you because this is something I probably usually would rail on. But Peter Schrager, even Kyle Brandt, that whole crew that does Good Morning Football. Now, I know Peter Schrager's not doing Good Morning Football anymore, but I like Good Morning Football because they remind me of us. They're four people talking about football They are bantering back and forth. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, the players that they have on that show, whether it's a McCourty or it's Manti Te'o or whoever it is, they criticize other people like we do. Now they don't get really in depth on it, but they will call out things as being bad. And yeah, sure, Kyle Brandt could be a meathead, but I love the whole thing about the the angry runs segment and things like
Yeah.
that. I like the fact that they have segments. They're entertaining to me. And I actually watch that show. That's one of the only football shows I watch because to me it's a lot like what we do. We're just bantering back and forth about what's going
Yeah.
on in the game.
No, it's if you haven't watched, it's a very, very watchable show, especially what ESPN is trotting out there, which is just insufferable. I watch ESPN just to get pissed off. I watch it just for sheer entertainment, piss me off value for stuff like this on our pod, on our when we do this. Oh God, yeah,
What?
That's a good one.
Cardone, pet peeve.
So I thought I was going to have a lot from just our own game in terms of what took place on the field and around the league this weekend in week 1, but we already touched on this, and I'm going to make this short and sweet, guys. This is mine. It is Brian Daboll's Dabble, however the fuck you like, gay ball. I don't know how to it's now. To me, it's Brian Gay Ball because that's the kind of football that the New York Giants are putting out there. Okay, his press conferences. That became my peeve as soon as I heard him say, I need to go look at the tape. We got to do a better job. And that comment that he made, we were talking about moral victories earlier, and there are none, right? Aaron Glenn, right? The Jets, no moral victories. This guy, Gayball, now is talking about a moral victory. Did you guys hear? Did we already talk about this? He was mentioning the fact that the Giants were only down 14-6 in the fourth quarter in his post-game press conference. This is the National Football League. You're in year 4. Dude, not 1, not 2, not 3. You're in year 4, and you're talking about the fact that we were down by 8 points in the fourth quarter and still had a chance to win. I can't believe this has happened after one game, but I can't stand looking at Brian Daboll anymore. And let me tell you, that shit on the sidelines, whatever scuffle he had with Malik Neighbors and this and that. Now, you know that a lot of times these hot-headed receivers, can get carried away or whatever's going on. I didn't even follow up on that today to hear really what was transpiring between those guys. But that tells me right there. Did you see Neighbors? He's like, hey, I don't want any part of this bullshit. Like Daboll's trying to high-five him during coming out of the timeout. Week 1 game, and I was saying before the season started, no, man, I got his back. It's not the coach. I think we got a good coach. One game into his 4th year, and he's like Aaron Boone to me now. These guys, I'm done with Brian Daboll. I'm done with his canned responses. I'm done with I got to look at the tape, and we got to do a better job. Dude, the guy looks lost. He's cooked. Novak, I think you said, like Daboll's cooked. He's cooked. And just that press conference, as soon as I heard those comments, I go, there's my peeve right there for week 1. There's my peeve. I could have gone 14 other ways, but that was the one. It's Daboll now. I just can't tolerate the guy. And he was saying, it's not on Russ. It's not on Neighbors. It's not on Theo Johnson. Well, who's it on then, Brian? Who's it on? This loss, this game, it's on you, brother. Okay? It's on you just like it is on the GM. It's on you. And it's on Kafka. It's on Bowen. It's on you guys. This team looked unprepared. They didn't look like they had a plan. That's on you, my friend. It's on the head coach, man. You are on the hot seat, and I'm the one holding the button for the hot seat, dude. Enough.
I was really annoyed at a lot of things Dable said and did after this one. And I'm right with you, Cardone. I think I even said that earlier. It's like I went from a supporter of this guy to I can't stand his face through 4 quarters of a football game. I want him gone. I want him gone now.
I don't think we're overreacting, Mike. I don't. I'm trying to make sure I'm not over. I said, you know what? This sounds like the old. Is this overreaction Monday? No, it's not. This is not an overreaction. This guy. No. I was listening again. BT Sal, give those guys credit too. I was listening to some of their sound bites. Year 4, man. This is year 4, and to throw that horrific game out yesterday that looked exactly the same. again, we just said it earlier. If it looked a lot different, if it sounded different, if it felt different, and they just still kind of lost, you said, you know what, guys? Hey, they weren't favored to win this game. Washington's a better team anyway. But you know what? The Giants came out and looked different. They had a game plan. They had a sense of urgency, a fervor, both sides of the ball. We saw things that we can grow on for the rest of the year. Hey, man, each and every week we have a chance to win a game. This team, there was absolutely none of that yesterday, and it's on the head coach.
Yep. You know why I said he was cooked is because the year that you guys did have that good year again, the year you went to the playoffs, he was Mr. like Belichick up there, right? Like, don't talk to me. I know what I'm doing. Like, kind of that, like, get the hell out of here attitude. It is completely flipped, and he's done the generic quotes with his ums, which I can't take, with the everything. It's not on Russell. We're going to see, we'll look at the tape. Like, he has completely flipped, and that's when you know he's gone. That's when you know it's lost, because he's completely changed. So it's a great one, Cardone, because you're spot on with this guy.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that he said that pissed me off. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but like immediately after the game, I wasn't even home from the bar yet. And it's on the radio that Dable's saying that Russ is the guy next week. Like, at least give us the go look at the tape comment, you asshole. Why is that automatic?
Yeah.
Why is that automatic?
They did announce today that Russ is the guy against the Cowboys, but yeah.
Everything else of his, we have to wait and see. There's more to it than that. But no, Russ is the guy immediately after the game. Like, they had to be walking up the tunnel, and he made that decision.
He might be the only coach in the league that is scoreboard watching for a team in the other conference, watching what the Indianapolis Colts are doing.
Yeah, that's the most damning thing.
Because he's probably like, God damn it, they're winning 33-8, and I'm getting my ass beat. I am just going to be hearing about it.
You watch this week when it's 35-0, the Colts are winning 14-10. You'll see Dable looking up at the board.
So we got a bunch of questions tonight, and some of these touch upon some of these comments in topics. So the first one, Peacock Corner. Peacock has 4 questions. The first one, is it time to see Dart? Is it enough of Russ? I think we touched upon it, guys. My viewpoint is, look, I want to see Dart, but I do not want to see Dart with an offensive line the way it is right now. I want the offensive line to be stable. I'm fine waiting several weeks if that is the case. I don't need to see Dart right now.
Yeah, no, just because of the comments you just made there, Scott, and we just talked about it earlier. Not behind this line, not yet. So the line has to. I don't know how they're going to improve, but I'm on the side of I don't want to ruin this kid before he has a chance to. I say no. I don't want to see Dart week 2. There's just no reason for it. Not behind that line. Simple as that.
I wanted him in the game Sunday in the fourth quarter. But cooler heads have prevailed around that. And, like I said earlier, I just don't really think I want him playing for a Dable coach team.
I think there's a very real chance you could see Dart in the second half of the Chiefs game. Yeah. I mean, if they get their asses beat by the Cowboys and they go in to Metdef and they're getting their asses beat by the Chiefs in the second half and people are screaming for Dable's head to try to get a cheer because he has completely just lost it at this point, I could see him throwing Dart in at that game.
Yep. At home. Yeah.
Yep.
And so he'll be like, fuck it. If I'm going down, he's going down with me.
Yeah.
He's like, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
It's a Hail Mary at this point.
Peacock also asked something we've kicked around this entire podcast, and that's, is Dable fool's gold? Do we agree? And I'll say this, like, look, I am not dead set against Dable. I think Dable has been a good coach, but I also agree with Mike and some of the comments here about Dable. There, at some point, the buck has to stop somewhere. We keep pushing the can on the offensive line. We keep pushing the can on the quarterback. And both those things have been bad under Dable, just like they were before him. So I do think Dable might be fool's gold. I like his attitude. I like the way he handles things. But at the end of the day, the guy's got to start to win and show results.
I mean, I think he's probably a pretty good football mind, but you can't have the same problems for 4 years in a row. You can't have them. If the coach can't fix the problems, then what's he even doing? I think Dable would probably be a really good coach for a great team, but we have the same problems that we had when we started this podcast under Joe Judge. They've not gone away.
He's supposed to be an offensive mind, offensive guru, which I can't stand. That could be a pet peeve. The word guru after the word offensive, I despise that freaking moniker, offensive guru. Based on what? I can't. And quarterback whisperer, what you name it, but where? We haven't seen it. We've had a number of different quarterbacks now, and we haven't seen any of this offensive guru play calling or execution on that side of the ball. I just went through my pet peeve with Daboll, and I can't believe how quickly I've just ready to push this guy off a cliff. I wasn't saying that a week ago.
Yeah, me too.
For Novak, we got a question for Peacock. Could Fields be the long-term solution with the Jets?
No. I mean, look, he played great in week 1. I was thrilled. I don't see it. I can't take 3 years of just the most ineffective quarterback in the history of the league and after one game say he's our long-term solution. Now, if he does this for 7-8 weeks, all right, then ask me again. But as of now, absolutely 100% no. But let's see how it goes. My mind is open because I trust, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying it, I trust this regime with Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, and the offensive and defensive coordinators. So let's see what happens.
All right. Then Peacock also asks, how bad is the officiating? How do we fix it?
This is Scott.
Why will I'll take this too, because look, guys, the officiating's been bad. I go back to the things that we keep asking the officials to do, and this bothers me too, because there's this new emphasis on taunting this year. So officials now have to interpret what someone's doing, call it taunting, throw a flag, and then punish the guy. So we're adding another thing on the plate of the officials that's subjective. Because one crew's going to think something's taunting, then another crew's not going to think it's taunting, and this is going to screw up the balance of the game. And I hate the fact that we keep giving subjective criteria to officials, because that's what's killing the game. We're making officials have to make decisions on things that are subjective that take it from crew to crew and make it different. And so for me, I think how you fix it is you make things more simple than what they are. You pare down the rule book. You make things very cut and dry, and if it's a foul, it's a foul, and you could clearly see that it's a foul. And I don't think there are people that have talked about having full-time refs. I don't think full-time refs fulfills that criteria. I think the criteria is make the rule book much more simple so that we know what is a foul, what isn't a foul, and we can adequately apply justice there. I hate the fact that when two people are running down a field and a receiver gets tripped and it looks obvious, that they'll come back and go, it's incidental contact with the feet. Mm-hmm. Because if you're running with a receiver and you're a defensive back, why not just stick your foot out and trip them? That's incidental contact with the feet. And that kind of stuff is the kind of thing that ends up just snowballing. And I don't like the fact that the officials have to make all these judgment calls. I hate pass interference because pass interference is so subjective, but I don't see a way around that. And that's about the only one that really kills me. But
I think when you read some of the rules as they're written in the NFL rule book, everything's a little vague and it's hard. I just think they need to go through the rule book. They need to get anything subjective and they need to take another look at it.
Yeah.
I know, like, I appreciate that they're trying to take taunting out of the game. I really do. It's one of the things that really bothers me during game. I hate when my team does it, but you can't just say taunting for the reasons Scott said in the beginning of that, because two different officiating crews look at that very differently. You've almost got to be more specific, like no standing over the guy and looking down at him and mugging at him after you tackle him. But that would cause that rule to be 25 pages long. It's a slippery slope, but I would rather not have the rule and allow players to taunt and just fine them after the game for what. That way the same people who apply the fine can be the same people who look at every game and look at every case of taunting, right? If you start fining them, they'll stop eventually if you fine them enough. But having the ability for one player to cost his team a game or yards because he's a knucklehead, I hate that exists out there. And and even worse than that, I hate that it could happen to your team when your guy didn't do anything. You just like getting up from the tackle and fall into the guy or something. 15 yards, you're out of field goal range, you got to punt, the other team comes down and wins the game. I know that's going to happen to the Giants this year.
Well, and I'll give you a good example, Mike. We saw it last year. If you remember, Slayton got a first down, and he did one of these, and they said he did a gun motion. In the very next day, CeeDee Lamb got a first down and did the same exact thing, and he didn't get a penalty. So one of those was taunting and showing a gun motion, and one of them was not.
Yeah,
and
that's
those
what I mean.
kind of things, it impacts a game.
Take it out of the rule book. Stop penalizing it. Just know if you do it, it's $1 million. I don't think they just have to get it out of the rule book.
The rule book's become too thick, man. Like I said, it just didn't seem like there were that many back in the day. There were like so many variations of especially the personal fouls, right? That you guys just touched on, and we've mentioned this before, but maybe it's worth saying again. I don't know, PIs. Do you make them do you go to college and do like the 15-yard variety instead of these 42-yard penalties? I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't think there's a good answer on how to fix the officiating problem and swinging the games. As much as they are right now.
I mean, why couldn't you do warnings, or why couldn't you do like the first time it's a PI, it's 5 yards, but if you do it again, then you got like something where there's like it stacks up every time, so that like you do one PI in the fourth quarter and you lose the game because you did it once. Like to me, that's unfair. Like you've played it straight up for 4 quarters. You make one mistake and you lose your game because of it. While the other team could have been penalized 15 times, like there needs to be a way to like lead up to something like that. That's what's killing the game, because there's a flag on every play. If you were to warn someone, say you're lining up, you're not lining up on the line of scrimmage. I'm going to warn you. You do it again, and we're gonna throw a flag on you. But I don't know. There's got to be something there. Where it stacks.
The other thing with the college game where you call interference and it's 15 yards is if you get it wrong, it's a 15-yard penalty. In the NFL, if you get it wrong, it could be a 50-yard penalty.
Yeah, I mean,
and they get it wrong so often.
Yes.
Yep.
The bailout is the worst call in all of sports. I'm sorry.
It is.
And I like the strategy that you could use in college, man. If you get burnt, just grab the guy. Don't let it be a touchdown. I like it. I would like adding that to the NFL. Just grab the guy. You take your 15 yards. It would have been a touchdown anyway. Not giving it. I never liked that rule. I hate that you give it to a team you give them a 42-yard penalty and put them at the 1-yard line.
It's ridiculous.
We saw that a little bit in the Friday game. The Chiefs defensive backs were holding all night long, and their attitude was basically call it on us. And they got called a couple of times, but you get called a couple of times. If you do it every time, a couple of times doesn't hurt you. It's sort of like the same thing the Colts used to do in the old days and the Patriots used to do. The problem you have is that once people start fooling with the rules, and this is why I have a problem with the tush push. You start fooling with the rules, and that kind of thing happens. You guys realize back in the 70s, well, actually back up until 90, I think it was 95, aiding and abetting a runner was illegal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden we put it
Yes.
back in the rule book. And no one has ever explained why it is now legal to do that. What I've heard is that it was very difficult to tell when someone was pushing a runner forward and they
Right.
couldn't adequately, call that. So it's still illegal to pick up a runner and move them through and pull them forward, but it's not illegal to push them. I don't get the juxtaposition there. And now everyone's saying when they're trying to get rid of the tush push, oh, you can't get rid of the tush push. Why? It was illegal for fucking 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if they listen, it's if they really cared about safety, the tush push would be illegal. I mean, the reason it was illegal was because it was dangerous. Because you had 300-pound linemen just running at you full speed into your back to try to push you over the goal line. That's why they got rid of it. Everything they ever talk about is safety, but they just quietly put that back on the table.
Oh, yeah.
So we got several questions from Chris Coons, too. And he asks if this is more for the Giant fans. Are we more impressed with the Redskins D or disappointed with the Giants O? I think we answered this already. I am more disappointed with the Giants O. The Redskins D was adequate. I didn't see anything special out of them. It was the fact that our O was so incompetent, and Mike Kafka, just as a play caller, sucked in this game.
Yeah. By a mile, our offense, the Giants O, just absolutely just inept. One word, inept. I don't think Washington's defense did anything special. They didn't have to. They really didn't have to. They weren't coming up with blitz, schemes and packages and all that. They just they were getting pressure with their front four, and we had no answer. So the Giant offensive line, or the Giant O, much more to blame, much more worse than having to being impressed with the Washington defense.
Yeah, and it just all collapses when you can't protect the quarterback. The quarterback's clock gets sped up. Russell Wilson missed a wide open Neighbors late in that game. The guy covered him, fell down.
Yep.
And Russell had already looked that way and was already like on to the second and third reads. Never got back to Neighbors because his clock is so sped up.
Yeah.
It affects everything.
He missed Slayton a couple times
agree.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. The Redskins team did nothing special. And to Cardone's point, that he's right, they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And
rush forward, drop back. Our receivers, I don't know if it's the route trees that Dable runs, but that's another thing we've talked about with the repeated over and over things he doesn't fix. Our receivers are perpetually blanketed by people, and they're good receivers. I don't understand how Giants receivers cannot get open.
By the way, I also don't know. I'm just watching the Lions Bears or the Bears Vikings right now, and how a genius like Ben Johnson's team can have a 4th and 19. But I digress. Coons
I also would like to point out in that game, Scott, that with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, the Bears had a 94.2 chance to win, and it is now a 5-point game.
So, well, we can talk about this too because it's going to come up here. Coons also asked if the Ravens-Bills game is an all-time great. The Ravens had a 99.8 chance of winning and lost. How does that happen where you have teams having 99+% chances of winning and losing? It's happens a lot more than 100 times in one.
Every week. If something happens every week, it's not a 1%er.
Look,
0.2%. Yeah.
I thought that game was a great game. I don't know if it's an all-time great, and the only reason I say that is because there were a lot of mistakes made by the Ravens that let the Bills come back, and I think it's great that in terms of the back and forth and the Bills coming back to win. I don't know if I could call it an all-time great game. I think Novak's probably going to disagree with me, but
I am. I think it was probably the greatest opening season first week game I've ever seen. Because normally week one games are poorly played offensively. There was a lot of scoring. There was a lot of drama. There's the back and forth, tough decisions, two great teams, two great quarterbacks. I actually thought it was an all-time great personally, but it's week one. But I will say it was probably the greatest week one game I've ever seen.
It was a great game. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard with recency bias to know.
Reminded me why I love the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was that good because our teams lost and sucked. So.
Because the tail of the tape on if something was an all-time great is 5 years from now will I remember it, right? If you just think that so. No, you probably
because
won't
it was
remember.
A week one game.
Yeah, they'll be talking. They'll be trying to remind us next year in week one. You don't want to miss any of this.
It also depends on where those two teams are in January. Also, if they end up playing against each other. And you got home field now for Buffalo with the head-to-head. So I think some of it will have to do with also the playoff positioning.
So Kuhn's last question and our last question of the night, because we are running late tonight. Our favorite snack to eat. So I'll start with Mike on the favorite snack.
Football snack, wasn't that a qualifier?
Favorite snack to eat during football. Yeah.
I don't believe it or not, I don't really snack much. I love, you know what I love though? But my wife just bought. She found the original Doritos. Oh. They're the taco flavored ones. That they were like the first. They were out first, and then they made nacho cheese, and nacho cheese was so popular that they like stopped making taco. But I do like taco Doritos.
So when Steph and I are watching the game at home, a lot of times. She makes nachos, and she makes them in the oven where you have on a baking tray the tortilla chips with cheese spread out over them, and then the taco sauce or hot sauce, and then she puts on one half of them sour cream because she likes sour cream. I don't want sour cream on my nachos, but that's one of our snacks we have.
I'll go along the same lines. Just straight up chips and salsa. Just give me the Tostitos is fine. I know it's easy to just take down a whole jar of Tostitos salsa. So I could crush that during an entire game.
I'm going to go wings just because to me that breeds football, but I don't know if that's considered a snack or an actual meal, but I'm going snack. Although having been at Mully's this last weekend, the meatballs are fantastic.
Those are good there.
Meatballs are good.
So good. Man, so good.
I tell you what, being at Mulligan's, I had the fried pickles. Those were fantastic.
Oh, they were really good
fried pickles are good. They somehow get that breading to stay on the pickles. That's a challenge people have with fried pickles. They cracked that code.
You guys got anything else tonight? I mean, I know we're running late. We're almost at 2 hours for tonight.
Oh, a lot to be pissed off about.
Yep.
This might be another one where we have to put it on the thumb drive, Scott. I don't know if we'll be able to.
I hope we don't, because I'm in Nebraska for Frank's sake.
Yeah, I'm going to make it tough. Yeah.
All right. So if we don't have anything else, guys, thanks for joining us. Next week we'll be back to recap the Giants and Cowboys and the Jets Bills, and we'll probably be angry again. Maybe not with the fervor that we're angry right now, but you never know.
All right. Have a good week, y'all.
See ya.
See ya.